What might be the reason why cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia did not help you to fully overcome your long-term insomnia and sleep problems? This is going to be a controversial topic today, but I wanted to talk about it because I'm actually talking to more and more clients who have had cognitive behavioral therapy over a period of time and even a number of different times throughout their insomnia struggles, but it still has not helped them to fully say goodbye to their sleep struggles and insomnia struggles. Now, if you're not familiar with what cognitive behavioral therapy is and you're just exploring it as an option to treat your long-term and chronic insomnia, then this video is not the right one for you to watch, because if you haven't experienced the process, you don't know how it might actually work for you. So I have recorded a video series on what that process is, what kind of things are involved in cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, and I think that will be a better way forward for you, because we don't want to start with why it might not work for you if you haven't even experienced the entire process. So go ahead, I'll put the link below for you for the video series and you can have a look at it and really go from there. But if you have had the experience and you have actually gone through the cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia approach and it didn't work for you, then let's really talk about what might be the reason it hasn't actually provided you with that solution. One of the first things I see in my practice is that either more and more professionals, or even in the UK, the National Health Service actually have published an online course on this process. Now, again, it might be a great thing for really some of those people that are struggling with insomnia for a period of time. But one of the things I see is that when the online resource or course is very generally recorded or published, it might not help you with the complexity of the problems that you have within your insomnia struggles. So, a 6 video course might not be enough to help you figure out what are some of the things that you need and how to put that process, the cognitive behavioral therapy process, in place for you in a practical way. I'm not saying that you're not capable of doing it, but a lot of the times I see with clients is that if their problems are very severe, they're going into the program with a lot of exhaustion. Putting in place something that they're being asked to put in place requires motivation and even inspiration. But if you're really sleep deprived and you're really exhausted, it can be very easy to lose that motivation to keep going. So this is one of the things I see, is that a very general online program that provides no support at all and no ability to ask questions can lead people to a place where they don't understand why it hasn't worked for them. And that's something that I see in my practice more and more now. Now, remember, cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia is the most recommended treatment path. So it's not an inappropriate path, but really the question we got to ask is, how supported were you during the process? And this leads us to the second reason why it might not have worked for you. If your sleep problems or insomnia problems have been around for a longer period of time and they become complex, not having that support or having the inappropriate support can actually really prevent you from succeeding in it. It's really that simple. So I see two different things in this kind of a reason why it doesn't work. One is that there is no support at all. You can't ask any questions. You can't clarify things if you maybe don't understand some of the things and how to apply some of those tools or techniques that you're learning about. Then the other thing is that you might be actually able to become part of that community alongside the learning or the studying part of this program. But it's not actually a very supportive community. So one of the things I've seen with clients is that if they have gone through a program which provided support as well, they tell me that it had turned into quite a negative environment. So either that people kept on talking about why things didn't work for them or how things failed to work for them within the program environment. Or they actually have not put things in place accordingly to the program, but they complained about why it's not working. So again, there's lots of different things that can come up in group environments, and really depends on the kind of community that you actually had access to. The way I work in my practice in my group program is that it's very proactive and very accountability based. If you do the things that will get you results, you will get those results and you will see those results. But sometimes these communities can actually turn into something that's very negative. People might actually keep sharing things that are really negative in their life, and that can mean that it affects other people as well. So again, this is the second part of this reason I see that might be the reason why it hasn't worked for you. Not everybody works very well in a group environment. Some people are very affected by some of those negative things that they might see from other people as well. It can be very disheartening to see that some of these other people who are doing the same thing as you are doing are not succeeding in the actual desired outcome or what they want to achieve. And then the third part, or the third reason why I see that sometimes cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia didn't work for people, is that it really often depends on the experience of the practitioner and the length of time that you have access to this process. So if you have had very complex and very long-term insomnia and sleep problems, let's say for over 3 or 5 years, the complexity of that sleep problem will become just more complex. So if we just take a 6 week or an 8 week cognitive behavioral approach, then often it's not actually enough to address every single layer of that complex sleep problem. And this is one of the things that I've seen in my practice. If clients have very complex issues, it can take longer to overcome them quite simply. And remember, when I work with clients, a lot of the clients I work with have struggled with insomnia or sleep problems for well over 5 years, and sometimes even well over 10 years. So again, we can't expect something to work as quickly if the actual situation is more complex. And so this is one of the things I see, especially with the clients who have experienced some success with cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, but it didn't last for the rest of their life. So this is what we see, that maybe adding a few sessions or adding a longer process into changing behavior can add to the higher success rate and how much longer you're able to keep great quality sleep in your life. Now, the way I work with people is that I integrate cognitive behavioral therapy or behavioral change as a very simple, practical sort of process into my work. So, what we really want to get to is you knowing exactly how your sleep works and how you can actually prevent some of these negative things to happen that will end up causing the insomnia struggles. So if the process is too short, you might not have had the opportunity to have enough practice, to have enough tools or techniques to actually really make sure that you can future-proof your sleep as well. So I hope that these three different main reasons are going to help you to figure out why it might not have worked for you. It doesn't mean that cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia it will never work for you, or it hasn't had a chance to work for you. It can be simply based on some of these reasons I have given. What I see in my practice is that changing behavior is a great way to really train the body and the mind to create great quality sleep in an incredibly practical way. But it's got to be done in the most appropriate way to the person, depending on the complexity of their problems. And this is why I was saying earlier that it is a bit of a controversial topic, because I don't believe that 6 sessions as a very core base cognitive behavioral therapy approach is enough when we're talking about longer term and much longer term sleep problems. And when I work with clients, we look at a 3 months the 3-month process is a minimum, and sometimes even longer depending on the client. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you have liked this video and the reasons I've given and the explanations I've given about why it might not have worked for you, then hit that like button below. Subscribe to my channel and hit that little bell as well so I can let you know when I post new videos on this big topic of how you can truly overcome your long-term insomnia and sleep problems and future-proof your sleep for many years to come. So thank you so much for watching.